Good afternoon, everyone. Today I want to talk about Robert Sternberg's Triarchic theory of intelligence. For a long time, we have been told that being smart means getting a high score on an IQ test or being fast at solving math problems. But Robert Sternberg argued that these tests are too narrow. He believed that traditional testing is full of red herrings or false ideas that distract us from what intelligence really is. Sternberg's Triarchic theory. Sternberg criticizes traditional intelligence tests for narrowly measuring analytic skills. He argues that intelligence should be defined more broadly, encompassing creative and practical skills as well. Sternberg approaches the question of intelligence from three perspectives: in relation to an individual's internal world, in relation to an individual's experience, and in relation to an individual's environment. For Sternberg, intelligence is not a fixed entity. It can change in composition as well as improve over time. As a result, his theory has practical applications for instruction in the classroom. So Sternberg's triarchic theory argues that intelligence is not just a fixed score, but a flexible skill made up of analytic, creative, and practical that help us handle our thoughts, our experiences, and our surroundings.
Intelligence is not just some dry and dusty quality of mind that is brought to bear when we take IQ tests or try to solve complicated algebra or physics problems. Rather, it is quality that we use continually in our everyday lives, on the job, in our interpersonal relationships, and decision making. In this context, intelligence can be understood as mental self-management, the manner in which we order and make sense of the events that take place around and within us. Thus, he argued is a cultural concept invented to explain why some people succeed in their environments and others do not, citing examples of people who succeed in school but not in real life and vice versa. Sternberg argued that must be more to intelligence that is currently measured by most tests. Thus, he identified three profiles of intelligence. So in this slide, explain that intelligence is not only about taking IQ tests or solving hard math problems. According to Robert Sternberg, intelligence is how people manage their everyday lives. Includes how we make decisions, solve real-life problems, and deal with other people. Sternberg believes that intelligence is shaped by culture and experience. That is why some people do well in school but struggle in real life, while others may not excel in exams but succeed in practical situations. Because of this, Sternberg proposed that intelligence has different forms, not just one type measured by test. Type of intelligence most often measured on traditional tests of IQ. Students who do well in school or earn high scores on achievement tests are typically analytical thinkers. They are good at analysis, comparing, and constructing evaluation and explanation. So in this slide, focuses on analytical intelligence, which is the type of intelligence most often measured by IQ tests and school exams. Those students who do well academically usually have strong analytical intelligence. They are good at analyzing information, comparing ideas, evaluating problems, and explaining answers logically. This intelligence is used in school subjects like math, science, and reading comprehension. However, Sternberg explains that being analytically intelligent does not always guarantee success in real-life situations. Next, refers to in the literature as both creative and synthetic intelligence, taps a different set of skills than those described before. Those who create, design, imagine, and suppose are synthetic thinkers. Those are graduate students who didn't score high on the GRE, for example, but later proved to be adept at research, but later proved to be creatively intelligent than analytically intelligent. So in this slide discusses creative intelligence, also known as synthetic intelligence. So this type of intelligence involves creativity, imagination, and the ability to think in new and original ways. So people with creative intelligence are good at designing, creating, and imagining possibilities. So, for example, a student may not score high on standards tests but may excel in art, innovation, or research. Sternberg emphasizes that creative intelligence is important because it helps people adapt to new situations and solve problems in unique ways.
Practical Intelligence by Robert Sternberg. So, according to Robert Sternberg, practical intelligence is also regarded as street smarts or real-world applications. So, what are the key points of practical intelligence? It is the ability to apply knowledge to real-world situation. So, it involves finding solutions to everyday problems that aren't necessarily requires academic or books or anything that is related to academics. So first we look at practical intelligence. So according to Sternberg, this isn't just about book smart, it's about the ability to apply what you know or how to solve a real world situation or problems, and also how to use or navigate it in our everyday life, no, to use it effectively. So that is what we call practical intelligence by Robert Sternberg. We're gonna elaborate the three phases of intelligence, which is the core concept. So it is a breakdown of how intelligence relate to the self-experience and their surroundings. So what are the key points? We have the internal world, which focuses on cognitive processes, on how a person think and processes information. We have the experience, which focuses on the relationship between intelligence and task, and also performance. Then we have the environment, which focuses on the external intelligence, which describe how a person adapts to its surroundings. So let's break down Steinberg's intelligence into three stages, so which I have already mentioned. So for the internal world, so this is how we think, experience, which is how we perform our tasks, and the environment. So for the environment, this is our ability to adapt to the world around us. So for the applications and teaching, so its core concept, intelligence is not just hereditary, it's teachable. So proper instruction and learning methods can significantly improve a person's intellectual capabilities.
There was a study of the effectiveness of the Triarchic teaching by the National Research Center in the Gifted and Talented on spring 2000. They concluded that teaching students not only for memory, but for analytical, creative, and practical processing works. It improves achievement assessed via either conventional or performance assessment at all grade levels. And in all subjects matter, areas we have examined across a range of socioeconomic and achievement level of students. There are also critics about Triarchic theory of intelligence. Messick, who compared it to Gardner's theory, writes that there's a surprisingly little overlap at a deep structure or even a surface level between two formulations, that both argue aspire to provide seminal theories of intellectual sphere. Let's review Sternberg's Triarchic theory. He grouped it into three types: the analytic intelligence, which is academic problem solving and computation; the creative intelligence, which is imaginative and innovative problem solving, and practical intelligence uses street smarts and common sense. We end the report with Sternberg's quote: "It is not only the possible theory to explain intelligence. I hope other theories will be proposed." Thank you.